At this point, I'm sure you've heard good old cackling Kamala Harris has picked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. So, of course, you know what that means. It is time for an election 2024 update. All right, so over here at NPR, we got Harris taps Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Yeah, him. More on him in a minute. For more than, let's see, blah, blah. Yeah, don't care. St. Paul, Minnesota, Tim Walz, the second-term Minnesota governor with a folksy demeanor, has gained a spot on the Democratic ticket as Kamala Harris's vice presidential choice. Former high school geography teacher and National Guard veteran helped greenlight a slate of progressive policy priorities in Minnesota. As a governor, a coach, a teacher, and a veteran, he's delivered for working families like his, Harris wrote in a statement. We are going to build a great partnership. So I want to kind of hold up right here. Let's look at that last one again. Where's it at? As a governor, a coach, a teacher, and a veteran. Look, I implore you to do your research. Again, Louder with Crowder, I spoke about them in the last segment. You know, they did a great breakdown of this candidate here this past Tuesday. If you go on X, there's a lot of people talking about them. But notice how they present them here. And again, Crowder mentioned all this, all these little selected, agreed upon adjectives, so to speak here, or adverbs. Anyways, governor, coach, teacher, veteran. Maybe those are pronouns. Maybe those are his preferred pronouns. But as a governor, a coach, a teacher, and a veteran. Now, that veteran part is definitely a questionable one in a way. I won't get into that, but I'll kind of mention it here in a minute. But that's what loving. He's a real person. He's this and that. And then up here, it says that he helped greenlight a slate of progressive policy priorities in Minnesota. But if you go and you listen, they keep playing down how progressive he is, and he's more moderate. You know, this is a moderate candidate. It's not a progressive candidate. But they continue to call out the progressiveness of this man. And if you look up anything about him, you will find he is significantly progressive. But again, notice how they present them. Those are the talking points. I'll be the first to admit that we as conservatives, you know, on the conservative side, we'll gloss over his good works. We do that. And everybody does that. If you like a candidate, you point out all the good, kind of forgetting some of the bad. You know, or like, oh, well, I can kind of justify it this way and that way and blah, blah, blah. I mean, let's be real. If you dislike a candidate, you're going to just call out the bad and you're going to overlook the good. This is true on both sides, but I will say that we definitely do that as well. On the conservative side, I do it as well too. But he's done some good things. I'm not going to knock him for the good things he's done. He's done some good stuff for kids in that state. He's done some terrible stuff for kids in that state. You know, it's a ticks for task kind of thing. It's what are you going to do? You know what I mean? I'll give him praise on things that he does well. I'll criticize him on the stuff he does wrong. I do the same with Trump. I'm definitely not a never Trumper, but I'm not one of these people that's like worshiping the ground the man walks on. I've got issues with him. I've spoken about him before. I will speak about him again. And if he becomes president, which, dear Lord, I hope so. If he becomes president again, I will be criticizing stuff that he does, good and bad. I promise you. I guarantee you. And if I don't, you can unsubscribe. You can trash me in the comments, share me with all your friends, and say I'm the worst human being on earth. I try to call it like it is. May not always get it right. I may miss some stuff, but I do my best. But you know what? He's got an uphill battle with his record for tampons in boys' bathrooms, approve sex changes for minors. Stolen valor, that's a good one to look up, guys. It's a good one. Stolen valor, or the accusation of stolen valor. All that and more. Kind of gives them an uphill battle. I don't think a lot of times vice presidents help a ton, but they can hurt a ton. So it'll be interesting to see what bringing him on the ticket does. We won't get into all the stolen valor and all that stuff. Like I said, we won't get into all that on this show, but do some homework yourself. Check it out. I think you're going to go down some rabbit holes. You'll find some stuff and be like, I had no idea. But that's the beauty of it, right? Today, I just want to point out a couple of things about this ticket. Remember, we had Biden. I don't know if you guys remember that. Biden was the presidential nominee, but he backed out. So, yeah, remember when Biden backed out of the 2024 race?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Exactly. Right here from Politico, this is when he addressed the nation. You know, Biden is passing the torch to unite our nation. One of the things he said in that always kind of struck me and a little odd, a little funny. I still have it highlighted. Oh, look at there. I got it highlighted. The best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That is the best way to unite our nation. Joe Biden's 81 years old. 81 years old. Kamala Harris is 59. Let's call it 60. She'll be 60 in November, right? So Kamala is 60. Tim Walz, 60. So, you know, an 80-year-old man passing it down to someone 20 years younger certainly qualifies as the next generation from his. I don't know if I'd call it a new generation. I guess it's a new generation in a sense. I guess every generation is a new generation, but it's not like the new generation. It's not a young generation. Look, don't get me wrong. 60 is not 80 by any means, but I kind of want to point this out because this is something, especially lately after seeing Biden, a lot of people are talking about. 60 is still pretty close to that age of retirement for most people. So we're putting somebody in office to serve 4 years. That's going to go in right before or right around that age of retirement. They're going to get out, you know, maybe around there or maybe shortly after there, about, you know, age of retirement for most people. Is that the best person to have in office? Now, I know you're going to say, well, what about Trump? What about Trump? Well, these are our options right now. Don't get me wrong. I would love a younger candidate. In fact, that's one of the things I look for when I vote locally, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I think the older you are, the more out of touch with society and the common man that you are. The longer you've served in politics and in that private sector there, the more removed you are from, you know, the normal human being that you're supposed to be representing. So these are all things that I kind of think about and look at when I'm looking at all this. As a side note, don't you just love, I'm looking here at Waltz's picture. Don't you just love, after all the identity politics played by the left, Kamala Harris chooses an old white guy to help her out? Just saying. She could have picked somebody younger. Could have picked a female. Could have picked somebody of color. She picked an old white-haired white guy. I just think that's kind of funny. You know, especially after all the identity politics and everything that's been thrown out there. And that continues to get thrown out there by that side that we get criticized for calling out for some reason. I don't understand how that works. I don't get it. Anyways, we haven't really heard much of Kamala since getting anointed as the nominee. I think, was it a week away or something like that is when they solidify that. But I mean, assuming it will be her at this point. But we haven't heard much from her. I know she just did a rally this week with Waltz, but not much was said. If you go back and watch it, it's a lot of nothing being said, which is pretty much what Kamala runs off of. A lot of word salads and nothing being said and not answering questions. She's really good at the not answering questions part. And by really good, I mean really, really bad. She's not really good at it at all. She's not really good at much of anything. Well, that's not true. I heard she was good at something. That may have boosted her career, but that beside the point. But what is their platform even? Right? What are they running off of? What do they stand for? So all she does is provide a word salad of nothingness, laughs, and she blames Trump. Every time she opens her mouth, that's all that comes out. She is not a woman of substance. Maybe her website can shine some light for us because we're not getting anything out of her. What's it say on ye old website here for Kamala Harris? Okay, if I go to Kamala, okay, KamalaHarris.com. Guys, the link will be in the description or in the show notes down below. If you want to have this experience that we're about to have, click on it. Go. So first you can get hit with, give me the money, which look, I get it. They all are like this: conservative, Democrat, president, congressman, city council. I get it. This stuff's expensive. It shouldn't be as expensive as it is. We shouldn't do it the way we do it, I don't think. Hey, you know what? This is the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Here we go. We're going to close out of this because I ain't giving them nothing. All right, now what are my options? Okay, give again. Donate. Let's win this. Okay, I can sign up. Work with us. Okay, all right. Nothing of substance so far. Let's go to the menu. Gotta find it there. Take action store. Nothing about a platform. Huh. Look, Ma, no mention of a platform of any kind. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to go to Meet Kamala Harris. Maybe she has something in there about what she stands for and what her ticket's all about. Meet Vice President Kamala Harris. Vice President Kamala Harris has devoted her career to fighting for the people. Okay. As the daughter of parents who brought her to civil rights marches in a stroller, she was inspired to tackle injustice from an early age. She took that mission to county courtrooms, the California Attorney General's office, the United States, and the White House. Now she is running for president of the United States to continue protecting our freedoms, delivering justice and expanding opportunity so that every American can not just get by, but get ahead. As vice president, she's been a trusted partner to President Joe Biden, which what does that even mean? And their work to take on the powerful, blah, 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 blah. You didn't do anything. You were a waste. Yeah. I can't stand that woman. Kate. Go back and watch videos I've done from, 2 years ago? Anytime that woman popped up on the screen. Her and Nancy Pelosi, I think I have the hardest time with. Can't stand them. Can't stand them. I think Nancy's worse, big picture wise. But this is our current focus right here of stupidity. And whatever. She's no good. She's no good. She's no good. All right. So no platform. I'm sure if we keep reading, we might find some identity politics in there. Just my guess. But guess what? I've lost enough brain cells listening to Cori Bush, reading her stuff, Kamala's, and I can't lose anymore. I have to recuperate. Let's check out Trump's site. Maybe he stands for something. Let's go back over here. Let's see. Donald Trump. Look at that. Contribute. Shop. Okay. Contribute. Again, everybody does it. Contribute. Volunteer. Join our movement. Okay. Agenda 47 platform. Huh. There's a link to the platform right there. Hold on. Video of him talking. Some merch. He has the greatest merch. The greatest merch. I can't do a Trump. Of course, the first social media there is Truth, right? Okay, all right. So already got a lot more going on the first page here. A link to platform. Just curious, is there anything in the menu up here? Look at there. Very first thing is the platform. Just out of curiosity. Let's check it out. Agenda 47. Read the official 2024 Republican Party platform here. Okay, so that's not just his, that's Republican Party's. President Trump's 20 core promises to make America great again. You mean they're out here numbered, clear as day, short and concise for the most part. I mean, I get, some stuff. Nothing like this on Kamala's website. Harris's, VPs, Willie Brown, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I get it. There's nothing out there, nothing at all. And I think that's been one of the biggest gripes from even her biggest supporters, is that there's nothing out there. It doesn't seem like they have any plan at all on how they're going to run, what they're going to run on, be it the Democratic ticket as a whole or just the Harris Waltz ticket. There's nothing. I haven't heard anything. All I've heard is Orange Man bad, and we're going to work on stuff and make stuff better. No plan, no specifics, no nothing. I like how this is. I mean, this is broken down beautifully. Look at it. Some people say I have the best website. Some people say I have the best plan. It's broken down in such a way, even a current Kamala supporter should actually be able to read it and understand it. No offense. I have a feeling if you're a current Kamala supporter and you come here and you read this, you may no longer be a Kamala supporter. I'm just saying. Guys, remember this too. It is not just about the presidential ticket in November. There's more at stake here. I do want to point out something really, really quickly to you guys, and then and kind of wrap this on up. This is why am I not at the top? Boom. This is from Ballotpedia. This is a really good site. They've got a lot of great information out there. If you've never been here before, I highly recommend going and just doing some searches. Look for stuff going on in your area, on your tickets, and see how to get, who's running, get copies of the ballots and all. I mean, there's bukus of surveys and stats and just all kinds of stuff out here. It's great website. But yeah, so check this out. So a total of 468 seats in the U.S. Congress, 33 Senate seats, 435 House seats are up for election on November 5th, 2024. That's 468 seats up for grabs, along with the president's 1 seat and vice president's 2 seats, I guess. Ahead of the elections, Republicans hold a majority in the U.S. House, while Democrats and independents who caucus with Democrats hold a majority in the U.S. Senate. So keep that in mind. You can get a Republican president, and the Democrats controlling the Congress, be it the House or the Senate or both, and you're pretty much not going to get anything done. If we are going to take back this country, and I mean that in the sense of patriotically, right? Get back to what we're supposed to be as a nation, family, God, country, all that good stuff. Love your neighbor, look out for one another, protect America first. I mean, we've got to have a red wave across the board. Right here, it actually shows and this is just for the Senate. I didn't see one for the House, but it shows a map right here of all the states that have elections coming up, seats that are available for the Senate. Of course, I'm not one right now. I'm stuck with old Ossoff and Warnock that have done nothing. But I'm stuck with them for a little bit longer. Hopefully we can get something to change there. But Florida, you're a red state. You got a Republican incumbent. What are you going to do? Who's running? Look into it. Look at these other places right here. Arizona's a big one right there. I mean, there's a ton, guys. Know who's running. I don't want to say forget all about the presidential race. Definitely don't forget about the presidential race. Vote who you want to vote for in the presidential race. 100%. But don't forget that we're not going to be able to do anything if we don't control the House and or the Senate. And wouldn't it be lovely to see what would happen if Trump won and the Republicans took back the Senate as well as the House? I know we have a majority in one right now, but if we had both and the presidency, we might actually be able to get something done. That would be fantastic. So I want to take this moment real quick. Come back here. I want to take this moment real quick and actually promote this great movement. I'm going to call it a movement. We've spoken about it before here on the show when I had Robert Herr from the Washcast on. But it's a great way to mobilize conservatives. The left is really good at the ground game, and this is another tool to help even the playing field. Okay. Early Vote Action is more than a mobile app. It's a movement headed up by Scott Pressler. Its purpose is to help coordinate and organize conservatives to reach voters and or non-voters in their local area. From knocking on doors to canvassing people we come across daily, the app provides great ways to get involved. Links to the Android and Apple versions of the app will be linked below. This is not an election that we can sit back and put it on cruise control. We have to make this too big to rig. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It takes all of us to get involved. Check out Early Vote Action today to see how you can make a difference. It's not a paid endorsement. That's a completely volunteer kind of thing. I know Robert, our good friend, has done some work with them as a volunteer. All of it's volunteer work. And I mean, they may be flipping Pennsylvania. I mean, that's going to be awesome. The work that they were putting in right now is I haven't seen anything like it, especially from the conservative side. So again, not any like paid promo. I get no benefit from it. I don't know Scott. I know Robert very well. He's a good friend, but there's nothing I can get out of that other than just pushing us forward. And that's what I want to see. I want to see us even the playing field. I want to see more of us out there, knocking on doors, shaking hands, just asking people questions like, hey, are you going to vote? Do you know what the candidates stand for? Can I have a moment to talk with you about it? You mind if I just hand you something? I mean, there's something that we can do. Anyone and everyone can get involved. And again, I know it gets said every year, but as we progress over time, the left moves more to the left. The right moves more to the right. I kind of put a question mark there. I feel like the right still kind of moves more to the left over time. I think we always move a little bit more to the left after we compromise and everything. But we are going off the deep end on the left. We've got to bring it back to the middle. We got to bring it back over to the right, however you want to look at it. We've got to do something. So I know it gets said every single year from some people, or every single election season, rather, from some people. I will tell you, of my lifetime that I am aware of, this is hands down the most crucial election of my lifetime. This is going to decide so much when you think of everything that is on the ballot. From, of course, you got the abortion's a big one. You've got the immigration, the economy, sex change for kids, just protection for kids in general, right? Making their parents aware of what's going on, what's not going on, keeping it secrets. I mean, just wow. There's too much on the ballot to sit idly by and expect somebody else to get out there and put in the work to make America great again. It's going to take us all. And again, I know you watch this show and you're like, dude, you say you're trying to spread the news and trying to be fair and you're trying to be transparent. I am. I will share the news as I have it. I will always have my own personal bias and personal leaning, which is almost always to the right. Not always, but almost always to the right. Excuse me. That being said, facts are facts. If you see me share something that's factual, statistical, I've got data, I've got receipts, you can't really argue that, right? But if you hear me say, go Trump, then obviously my conservative ship is showing. Tuck it back in. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm transparent about where I am on the political spectrum. I'm transparent about who I'm voting for. But at the same time, if you're here and you do not support anything that I've said, I still hope that you've watched and you've taken something away from this that is going to benefit you in life, in the election, in your decision-making process, or something. I hope you've gotten something out of this at this point. If not, you've wasted quite a bit of time. I get it yapping. I don't know when to quit. But I'm glad you're here, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.